Okay, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Welcome everyone for our Saturday afternoon Puriksha program. Thank you Deepak Prabhu and Rasmita Mataji for hosting. For the first time we are all joining here. Thank you very much. And Mataji wanted to do all the cooking also by herself today. Okay. So we'll have short kirtan and then we'll continue with our discussion. Rajendra Prabhu said he will speak at the end. Okay. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Vashravadesh Krishna Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Namah Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupam Bhavamidro Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Prabhu Nityananda So we'll have Rajendra to speak first.
Wait, is that so?
Okay. So Rajendra who is going to speak on importance of scriptures. Is that right?
Yeah, more or less. I will comment on that.
Okay, so today Rajendra Prabhu is going to speak, and everybody please pay attention because next week it will be one of your turn. Mataji's turn also.
Mataji's only tired cooking.
So that's why we want to give you break from cooking and take a speaking service.
No break in cooking.
No cooking.
Unless you guys are cooking.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, Hare Krishna. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. I'm not sure how efficient I'll be talking or how I'm not in the right position or right place to talk, but since you gave me the opportunity, I tried my best since morning. Yesterday I was all busy with my deployments. So whatever I could gather this morning, I'm just kidding, and pardon me for any offense. So let's get started. So I will first start with all the living entities in this material world. What is their condition today? What kind of afflictions we are into? If you see, each one of us is going through threefold miseries, and everyone knows what those threefold miseries are, right? Adi Bhautik, Adi Atmik, and Adi Daivi. So Adi Atmik, everyone knows it is it is a condition or afflictions caused by our body and mind. Similarly, Adi Bhautik is the position or it's the atrocities given to us by the society, by a nation, by a group of people, right? So it is like an external. Adi Atmik is internal, and Adi Daivik, it is again, it is not in our control. It is all the natural calamities like earthquake, famine, any natural disaster. So we all are afflicted by all these tumultuous conditions in this material world. And there is no escape from it. However much we try, how much ever we struggle, and that is what we have been doing all our life. We struggle a lot, we work hard, and you name it, we do it just for some material benefit to see, and we are under a false impression that, with so much of struggle, we are gradually progressing, or we are gradually putting ourselves in a position where we'll be able to control all these afflictions or all these, all these miseries, but which is a wrong notion, wrong impression, because however we try, and that is what we are doing. Just take the example of whatever donkey, or we have seen this donkey example, or all examples Prabhuji has given, or a poor man, he works day and night, hard work, just for the benefit of 2 meals a day, but he goes with so much of struggle. But at the end, he might think that the purpose of his life solved because he got the benefit. That mere benefit, the small benefit, is really meaningless, and that is not the true purpose of our life. So we all have to understand that these threefold miseries are beyond our control. We have to accept it a fact that it is going to happen until we die. It is going to stay until we die. We have to uplift ourselves at such a level that we backseat or we ignore these things. This should not be this threefold misery should never come to our mind and affect our real purpose of life. So now let's talk about. Now we know that these threefold miseries are going to stay here. Now let's understand what is causing it. So it won't be good if you really if you don't understand the root cause of an issue, right? In our IT or any in our work life, we get into a bug or we get into issue. We are always asked to figure out, give us the root cause analysis by the leadership, right? So that's what we have to do, and we have to put a permanent fix so that it doesn't repeat again, right? So that is how we do in our work life. Similarly, in our material life or the spiritual life that we are aiming at to to proceed, we also have to understand the miseries that we are going through, what causes it. So the miseries that we are going through is primarily caused by our ignorance, right? So this ignorance, so there are fivefold ignorance. I mean, there could be many, but I just whatever I could collect. Primarily fivefold ignorance, and which are called pancha klesha, right? So each of these ignorance is tied to one klesha. Klesha means dukh, right? One ignorance gives one dukh, okay? So this pancha klesha, we have to understand what these pancha klesha are and how exactly they are the root cause of our ignorance. A root cause of our misery. The first ignorance that we most have is tamas. So tamas is just general ignorance. It's just like our perception. Like we as a material body, we have just conceived the idea that whatever thing that is not eternal, we think it is eternal. Thing that is not the root cause of happiness, we feel, yep, it is the cause of our happiness. So we march towards to acquire it. Similarly, what doesn't belong to me or what is not me, we feel, yep, it is me, it belongs to me. So that is just a general perception that we have been carrying over these years. So that is tamas, right? And so that is called avidya, general avidya, ignorance. Okay, so the pancha klesha, right? So as we go further and further, the intensity grows. The ignorance intensity grows. So after tamas, let me see. After tamas, it was asmita, right? So asmita is kind of it's a false ego, or it's a kind of moha, right? So it's so we get to a level where we think, we put ourselves in a bodily platform and we think more about us, saying, hey, I am this, I am that, I acquired this much, I am a PhD, or I am an MBA, or I am a, Jnani, or, Shastri of this much of knowledge. So we always, think about ourselves in that platform, in the bodily platform, or in the platform of our achievements, and, and that is another ignorance, because we that's not our true self. Look at, for example, so there is one lady who was a very aspiring lady, who was who was into photography, and she was an aspiring photographer. So she wanted to be in the limelight, or she wanted to achieve a lot in her career. So she was she was. And everyone these days have their role model, right? So even in our career, if we want to become something, maybe we treat our boss as our role model, or maybe his boss as a role model, or maybe some CEO as a role model. Maybe we want to become, that person at some point in our life. So we treat some people as our role model. Similarly, so this aspiring photographer also had a role model, because so there was a person who was very eminent and he was very popular. The person will be winning all the competitions where their photographs will be published in the major major magazines. So they're very popular. So this lady was aspiring to be that person one day and following that person's footprints. And she also wanted to have some sort of association with that person, so that she can, get more information, and maybe she can benefit from the association in terms of learning, or maybe in terms of pursuing the career, or achieving something, right? So after a lot of hard work and struggle, she could come to the association of the person, right? And once she got the association, and finally they got closure, and she could feel, and she could find that this person, he's so eminent, he's so popular, and so every other day, or maybe once in a week, you will be able to hear about him, his publications, his magazines, his photographs. But when she met and she with her close association, she found that person is, he has cultivated all the bad habits. Person is drinking, person is divorced 3 times, is still seeking for a 4th wife, and any kind of wrong thing you can think of, the person had cultivated, and she was completely bewildered. All these years she had been chasing or thinking that person as her role model and wanted to become that person one day, and all of a sudden when she found all these things about the person, she was completely bewildered, and she was really not able to understand what her real purpose, what the real purpose of her life is. So eventually she, gradually she did, she take back step, and she, came into Krishna consciousness, and she pursued her life. So next comes is raga. Okay, so raga is, it's another level, as I said, as we go further to talk about this klesha, so their intensity increases. So now raga is mahamoha. The previous one is moha, this is mahamoha. Now because we are in a bodily conception, we feel like, we are this body, and in mahamoha what happens, your propensity to enjoy sense gratification increases, So and if you really think about this current state or current day or current generation, people are very much attracted, or their propensity for illicit relationship and drug addiction is so prominent, they are completely engulfed by this maya, right? So this is mahamoha, because they are not able to come out of this, and they feel like, the more they get involved here, they will get more pleasure or more satisfaction. That is another ignorance. So these are all this ignorance that is the primary cause of our threefold miseries. So next comes, what was that? Okay, Tamishra and Antamishra, I will just keep it short. It's again like, again, it's like related to our frustration, because we think something in one way, things happen in the other way. That is when we really get frustrated, and we feel like this is not what we wanted, but things are taking a U-turn. People get frustrated. Okay, and frustration, you can think, when you're frustration, you are unstable. People go mad, right? And one stage comes, people feel like we made so much of attempt, and every attempt to satisfy ourselves, our sense gratification, or our bodily pleasure, it's all futile. So once particular stage comes, people think of killing themselves, right? That is the crown of all the ignorance. Okay, so we started with general avidya. Now we are ending with the highest level of avidya, which is the crown of ignorance. So this is andhatamishra. So right, so the cause of these threefold miseries is this panchaklesha. Okay, so now we understood, every living entity, they are going through these threefold miseries. What is causing it? We also figured out the cause is this panchaklesha. Now let's talk about how do we overcome it, right? It's a big coating, right? It's a big cloud shadowing us. How do we get rid of this? So the only way for us to get rid of these offenses, because ultimately we are creating, this is forcing us to create offenses. Whatever we talked about, these are all offenses, right? The only way we can overcome this or control it is by following 4 regulative principles. That is the stepping stone, or that is the very, very first step. If we follow the 4 regulative principles, just by following it, we come to a human platform. That is just the beginning. We haven't yet started our spiritual path. That is our starting point, or starting position to begin our spiritual path, right? Until we follow the 4 regulative principles, our spiritual journey can never be successful. Okay, so what are the 4 regulative principles? I think many of must be knowing the 4 regulative principles. And again, these 4 regulative principles is not something that defined by ISKCON. So these are kind of these are the 4 legs of dharma, right? The 4 legs of dharma is Satyam, Saucham, Daya, Tapas. Okay, so let's talk about what are the four regulative principles. We shouldn't have illicit relationship, shouldn't gamble, no intoxication, no meat eating, right? So with meat eating, we kill our mercifulness, right? Because we end up killing innocent animals. Similarly, and that ties with daya. So it means we are, killing. We are one of the limbs of dharma is cut. Through meat eating. Second leg of dharma, it's intoxication. So with intoxication, you go mad, you go blind. With intoxication, we cannot do austerity, or whatever austerity we have done or we do, it is belittled. Its significance is destroyed. So again, that is the second limb of dharma that also gets cut. Now dharma is left with only two limbs, right? What are the other two limbs? Is gambling, right? Through gambling, we also again bewildered. Through gambling, we tend to lie because it's a game of true and false kind of, right? So you we tend to lie, and we are not able to make right decisions. And third and the fourth one is illicit relationship, and it is tied with saucham, cleanliness, right? With illicit relationship, we we destroy it, or our internal cleanliness and our external cleanliness gets destroyed. So to get rid of all these offenses, first stepping stone is to establish the four regulative principles, follow them. That is the stepping stone, first step. Then only we will be able to start our spiritual journey. Now, how can we make our spiritual journey really concrete? I mean, everyone is in the spiritual journey path, everyone, but we all are at a very, very different level, because so we have to understand what can reinforce us in a stronger, or make us stronger in the spiritual journey, right? So the swadhyay, right? Let's talk about swadhyay, because it is tied with adhyay means study. We have to study the scriptures, right? Because the way we think, right? The way we think in a way, right? In a materialistic way, right? Because we associate with people because it's a conditioned world, material world. Our mind is entirely conditioned, right? So we always think in that conditioned mind. So our thinking is different, right? And we think in the way of this material conception. So how does the swadhyaya helps us? So there are two integral and inseparable parts of swadhyaya. One is japa, right? And other is scripture reading. Both are inseparable. We cannot just do japa and not read the scriptures, and just read the scriptures and not do the japa. They are integral, undivided. They are part of each other. They are two sides of the same coin. They have to be there together. The reason being, if you just keep on continuing japa, you might be doing japa, but you may not be completely involved. You will be doing japa 1 round, 2 rounds, and at the third round you'll be thinking about your office, about your next trip, about your vacation, right? You are not in a controlled state of your mind, right? Because we are, in this material world, we are conditioned, right? Our thought process is entirely in a conditioned way. So how does our japa gets help? Our japa gets stronger or gets help from scriptures, because when we read scriptures, the scriptures have been written. Scriptures is all about us, basically. If you really see, you read anything, the scriptures talk about Kardam Muni or Vyas, we have Vyasadev, or we have Hiranyakashipu. If you really see, we are those characters. We may be Hiranyakashipu, right, in the scriptures, right? So we all are, so the scriptures is we personified, basically. We are one characters in the scriptures, if you really think about the scriptures in that sense. So we have to, and the scriptures have been written, so it's a Chakshu, right? In a different lens, right? With the lens of reality, what is the true world, what is the real world. So if we, read the scriptures, we really understand what the true world is and what is this material world is, how different they are, right? And once we start reading them, right, our japa gets, becomes very quality japa, because at that point in time, gradually we get rid of this material thought process. Anytime we start our japa, during japa, we think about the real world, and we try to connect both the worlds, the way our saints have, visioned, or they have visioned through those scriptures, because they have different vision. They want to portray something, or they want to, give something to the world through the scriptures, so that people can really understand what the real world is, and how one should, understand through those, and how one should, increase their. Thing is, just reading too many books may not be so fruitful, because some people might think, hey, because it may again, lead to your ego. Like, people may think, for the sake of reading, just for the sake of gaining knowledge, people may think, I have, mastered Bhagavatam. I have mastered, Bhagavad Gita, I'm so knowledgeable now. I'm at a very, higher level. Maybe, I'm, as compared to my peers, my peers may be here, but I'm here. That leads to ego, right? Because the real purpose of scripture reading is to inculcate, sadhana, bhakti, and and bring us closer to our Ishta Devata, who is Lord Krishna. Okay, Hare Krishna. With that, I would like to end.
The threefold miseries. The cause of threefold miseries is 5 types of ignorance. And then how we can get out of ignorance is we need to come to the level of first practicing the 4 regulative principles, and then practicing the spiritual life by practically engaging in devotion service through reading scriptures and engaging in japa, chanting of the holy name. Okay, very nice. Thank you very much, Rajendra Guru. Okay, so we'll continue with our discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, where we left last time. We were talking about Canto 3, Chapter 24, where Kardama and Devhuti had given birth to Kapiladev, right? And after that, what happens? So we are going to continue from there. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Cheva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudhirai Nashta Praeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishviti. Okay, Hare Krishna. So in the last session we talked about when Kardama Muni is about to appear, not Kardama Muni, Kapil Dev is about to appear as the son of Kardama and Devahuti. So all the demigods appeared there. All the demigods came for glorifying Kapila Dev, the Supreme Lord who is appearing in the house of Kardama and Devahuti. And at that time Brahma glorifies Kardama Muni. What was the reason why Brahma was glorifying Kardama Muni?
His duties. Fulfilled his duties.
Because he fulfilled his duties. He fulfilled his duty in the terms of fulfilling the orders of his spiritual master. Right? Kardama Muni's spiritual master is Brahma himself. He is father of Kardama Muni as well as his teacher, his spiritual master. And Brahma had given instructions to Kardama Muni to generate progeny. Right? So Kardama Muni carried out the order of his spiritual master. So Brahma is glorifying. What does Brahma say? That you have carried out the order of spiritual master in toto, without any cheating, without any deviation. Now, generally what we say in the material world, the conditioned living entities, they have four type of mistakes, four type of faults. What are those four type of faults? What are the four type of faults everybody has?
Propensity to lie.
Propensity to lie, cheat, right? Propensity to cheat.
Is the opposite of for them.
Yeah, not like that. The four defects basically of the living entity. Propensity to cheat, propensity to commit mistakes, then our senses are limited, then we are illusion. Right? So one of them is propensity to cheat, propensity to lie. People generally, casually, right, while speaking, they will make some statements which is as pure lie, but they will pose themselves as if they are speaking the ultimate truth. Like you go to a shopkeeper maybe some of you are known one. What will they say? They are selling you something, they will say, for you I am not making any profit. जितने में मुझे पड़ रहा है उतने में दे रहा हूँ आपको. Right? So, but what is that? That's also cheating. There is no businessman, even to his own relative, that he will give cost to cost. And then if some of your known person is a second-hand car salesperson, and you go to the salesperson and will say, this car, this is like new. There is no fault in this car. This car runs like new car. Right? There may be so many problems in the car. Maybe engine check light is on. No problem. This check light is just some sensor problem. Nothing, no big issue. So, because they want to sell their product and they will make so many wrong statements. So that is cheating propensity. So cheating propensity is so prominent in this world. But here, between the guru and disciple, the relationship is what Brahma is saying, without any duplicity, without any cheating propensity. Carrying out the order of spiritual master in toto. In toto means in totality. So, to honor the spiritual master, what the disciple can do is, the best thing the disciple can do to honor his spiritual master is to fulfill his instructions. So in 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, there are some particular instances mentioned where Krishna is describing to Uddhava what are the qualities of a disciple. So what those qualities are? Amani amatsaro daksho nirmamo dhrida sohrida asatvaro artha jigyasur anayasur amoghavak. So some of these qualities have been mentioned. So if we just maybe focus on few of these also. Amani. What is the meaning of Amani? Without false ego. Right? One should not be considering for his praise and his glory, but merely serving the Guru, serving the spiritual master. So Amani, without considering his own honor, that Guru is sitting on high chair, why I am sitting on floor. So without considering his honor, he should be ready to serve the spiritual master. So that is Amani. Then Amatsaro. Amatsaro means without. There are two words mentioned here. One is Amatsaro and then another is Anayasur. Amatsaro is without considering oneself as the doer. earlier the guru will send the disciple for begging. Right now that culture is not there. Still there maybe, because on the instruction of spiritual master, the disciple may go for distributing books, for approaching people to collect some funds for the temple, asking for donations. So that is like begging. Right? On the instruction of spiritual master, we may engage in that particular activity of begging. But if we collect something, let's say if we raise a lot of funds, we raise a lot of donation for the temple, but now if somebody start considering, see, I did that much, I raised $100,000 for this project, and now you consider yourself as the doer. That is the wrong attitude, considering oneself as the doer. You should always feel that I am not the doer, this is the empowerment coming through my guru. On his instruction, on his empowerment, I was able to complete this task. So that's Amatsara. Then Daksha. What is the meaning of Daksha? You know there is Daksha Prajapati. Right? So what is the meaning of Daksha? Daksha means who's very expert. Able. Here, in what context this word is used? Without laziness. One should be able to serve the spiritual master without laziness, without feeling that okay, I did enough now it's for me time to take a break, I need to rest for the next few days now. So not having that feeling of laziness and be engaged in the service of the spiritual master. And then Nirmamo. Nirmamo means, this is easy, everybody should understand this, right? What is the meaning of Nirmamo?
Means without fear. Means open.
No, Nirmamo. Mama means mine, right? Ahamata, mamata. Nirmamo means without the feeling of proprietorship. You know, this is mine, this is mine, this house is mine, this family is mine, this property is mine. So without having this concept of proprietorship, be able to engage in the service of the Guru. So that is Nirmamo. And then Dhrida Sohrida. Dhrida Sohrida means being very friendly towards the Guru. Right? Being very friendly, being fixed in the mood of loving friendship with the spiritual master as a loving service in this loving service of spiritual master. So Dhrida Sohrida. And then Anasuya. Anasuya means no Isha, no envy. Right? Without any envy towards the spiritual master. Why Krishna is mentioning this? Because that is the nature of this world. Even somebody in the beginning may be very gentle, very humble, but as we progress in our spiritual life, we develop pride, we develop envy, that I also want to achieve that position, one day I want to acquire that position. Once the Guru was sitting on the Vyasasana and giving class, and disciple came and sat on the floor. Guru asked me, why are you sitting on the floor? My seat, Gurudev, my seat is at your lotus feet. Guru said, if I also come and sit on the floor, what will you do? Oh, I cannot sit at same level, then I will dig a hole and sit inside the hole. And Guru said, if I come in the hole, then what will you do? Then I will take a favda and fill the hole and sit on the Vyasasana. Generally, that is mentality of Guru. Waiting for when my Guru will go and I will acquire that position. So that should not be the mood. That's why Krishna is saying one should not have that type of mood that develops envy towards the superiors. Anusuya and Amoghavak. Amoghavak means one should not engage in useless conversation. When we come in association with senior devotees, in association of our Guru, one should not just engage in some useless conversation about what is the world situation going on, what is the stock market thing going on, how will I get my permanent residency, green card or something, what can I do to acquire this benefit or that benefit. So not engaging in all this useless conversation, but inquire about the real purpose of life, right? Inquire about any doubts we have from scriptures, how we can improve in our japa, how we can improve in our sadhana. So better inquire about those things rather than any other mundane subject matter. That's Amogha Bhava. So here, Krishna is describing these qualities, what the disciple should have. Now there is a dynamic between the devotee and the spiritual master, a devotee and, let's say, Siksha Guru, Diksha Guru. Both have mutual responsibility. Like we talked about devotee. As a student, what is the responsibility? He should have these qualities. Then, what is the duty of the leader also? What is the duty of the Guru also? The duty of Guru is to provide proper guidance and engage them in service of Krishna. Engage them, connect them with the temple, connect them with the devotees, and in that way engage in the service of the Lord and in service of the devotees. That is the duty of a leader. Now in our ISKCON movement is a multi-guru system, right? It's not that one is connected with one senior devotee only. We go to temple and there are so many senior devotees are there. So what should be the dynamic? When we meet so many other people, what is the responsibility of a leader? So the point which I am trying to say is, when we, in a position of leadership, as a position of leader or as a senior devotee, responsibility is to develop faith in the heart of the devotee about other senior devotees. You understanding my point? So to develop faith in the heart of other senior devotees. Let's say Raju Prabhu comes to temple. He meet other devotees, right? Other senior devotees, maybe somebody who is a temple leader or somebody who is running other Bhakti Vriksha programs. So the responsibility of a leader is to develop faith in the heart of a devotee towards the leader with whom he is personally connected. For example, I give another example is, if some other devotee who goes to somebody else's Bhakti Vriksha program, let's say Ram Kumar Prabhu's Bhakti Vriksha program, and Sunday feast I give class and he comes to me after the class, my duty should be to instill faith in the heart of that devotee towards his direct leader. Oh, very good. You are connected with Ram Kumar Prabhu, very nice. You continue in his association, you stay in his association, and he will show you the right path. But if somebody start doing this thing, his mentality is to establish himself and minimize other people. That becomes a very mean kind of a trying to put him in that position and try to put others down. So, as a responsible leader, one's responsibility is to install faith in the heart of devotees so they can continue in that process. Now coming to the next point here, so just moving forward here, so coming back to the point where Brahma is glorifying Kardama, that you fulfill the instruction of your spiritual master, I am very happy with you, and then he gives instruction. What was the instruction given? What instruction did Brahma give to Kardama? To marry his daughters to all the other great sages. So he said, Yatha Shilam, Yatha Ruchi. So accordingly you marry your daughters with all the sages. So Yatha Shilam, Yatha Ruchi. तो उनका रुचि जिसके साथ मिल रहा है, उनका नेचर जिसके साथ मिल रहा है, so accordingly you marry your daughter with all the sages. So in that way, then after all the demigods they departed. Not all the, like Brahma departed with Narada and the 4 Kumaras. Everybody else was still there. All the other sages were there. So Kardama and Devahuti, they gave away their daughters in charity to all the other great sages. So we know about Atri. You know Atri Rishi. You know Vashishta Rishi. Atri's wife is? Who is Atri's wife? Anusuya. Vashishta's wife. Who is Vashishta's wife? Arundhati. So, Those are all Kardama Muni's and Devahuti's daughters. Okay. So
They had 6 daughters?
nine.
Oh, nine.
Nine daughters. So Arundhati was married with Vasishtha. Anusuya was married with Atri. So Anusuya and Arundhati, they are sisters. It comes in Ramkatha also, where one particular topic comes where we mentioned that one. So in that way they married their daughters Yatha Shilam, Yatha Ruchi, to all the great sages. After that, all the sages, they went back to their hermitages with their newly wedded wives, and then as Kardama Muni and Devahuti, they gave birth to Kapila Muni. One day Kardama Muni, in a solitude place, he approached Kapil Dev. Even though Kapil Dev is his father, Kardama Muni approached Kapila Dev. He first glorified Kapil Dev, that you are the Supreme Lord. Just to give mercy on me, you have appeared in my house as my son. Even though the great sages, they engage in yoga for thousands and thousands of years, still they cannot see you face to face. But out of your causeless mercy, you have appeared in my house. Why? Because Lord is known as Bhaktavatsala. What is the meaning of Bhaktavatsala?
Friendly to devotees. Friendly to devotees.
He is friendly to devotees, okay. Bhaktavatsala,
What is good for devotees? Friendly devotees.
yeah, dear. He is dear to the devotees. Bhaktavatsala, Vatsa means calf. Right? As a cow, she is taking care of the calf. So same way the Lord takes care of his devotees. So he is Bhaktavatsala. So Lord is known as Bhaktavatsala. He is not known as Jnani Vatsala or Dhyani Vatsala or Yogi Vatsala. He is known as Bhaktavatsala. Because somebody who is engaged in devotional service to the Lord gives special attention. He takes care of the devotees. So Kardama Muni glorified Kapila Dev, that out of your mercy you have appeared in my home. Now I want to ask you for one thing. So we talked about up to this point last time, right? I want to ask you something. That is, what did he want to ask? Not for a big house, not for a PR, not for car or anything, not for a visa to USA. He was asking for,
You want to leave?
I want to renounce. Please give me permission to renounce. And Mataji asked question, why did Kardama Muni want to renounce? Even though Lord has appeared in his house, or his wife is still there, it's his responsibility to take care of his wife, his children. But why he wanted to renounce? Because he wanted to fulfill his other duty as his prime duty, which he has already expressed as a desire even at the time of marriage with Devahuti. What was the condition when he married Devahuti?
After the son, then he will leave.
After you give birth to a son, I will leave. Because that was his prime desire, to renounce and completely engage in the service of the Lord. Even though the Lord has appeared in his house as his son, still he wants to go, because there is always one thing. So first reason is because there is always danger of being entrapped in Maya. Even in household life is a safe mode. If both husband and wife are practicing sincerely devotion life, it's safer mode. But while staying in family life, there is always risk, always danger of becoming prey to the sense enjoyment. Like fire. Fire is good, fire helps us in cooking, but fire can burn also. So one need to be safe, one need to be very careful. So same way, while living in the household life, one need to be very careful that one does not become degraded in sense enjoyment. So that is one. Second reason why Kardama Muni want to leave is because Kardama Muni has primarily Dasya Rasa. Right? He is in a servitorship mood to the Supreme Lord. Now, if he stays home, his rasa will change as Vatsalya Rasa towards the Supreme Lord. So he doesn't want to mix his rasa. His primary rasa is as dasya rasa, and he want to engage in the service of the Supreme Lord in the solitude atmosphere. Now Prabhupada write actually here in this purport to this section here that there are two type of people. One are called Bhajananandi and another are called Goshtanandi. Goshtinandi and Bhajninandi. What is the difference? Goshtinandi are those who try to stay in groups, in association of others for the purpose of preaching, to distribute this knowledge to others. So they go, they mingle with people. That is called Goshtinandi. Bhajananandi is somebody who for themselves they want to engage in bhajan. They want to just engage in their chanting, their kirtan in a solitude place. That is called Bhajananandi. Now both are good. In Goshtanandi sometimes there will be a risk. Right? When we are going in the outside world, mixing with people, there is always a risk of becoming pride. I am making so many devotees. I am doing so much. Like so many people are taking guidance from me. So there is always risk. One can become proud. There is always risk of becoming envy towards others. Why he is doing more than me? So if one stays very focused but without getting entangled into these things, then he is okay. Goshtinandi, Prabhupada, actually he was staying in Vrindavan. He could just perform his bhajan nicely. But Prabhupada chose to come to America, mix with all these people. In the beginning it was all hippies who were engaging in all sort of activities. Still Prabhupada came because he wanted to fulfill the instruction of his spiritual master, to distribute this knowledge of Vedic scripture in the Western world. So Prabhupada took this risk. He came to the Western world, and this whole our movement, we are what? We are Goshtinandis, right? We try to engage other people also in the service, distribute this knowledge, engage them in Harina. People go for Sankirtan on the streets. People go for Sankirtan, like devotees go for book distribution. They go on Harinam Sankirtan. They go even on beaches. They are doing Harinam Sankirtan, so that other people can also get that benefit. But we should always be very careful not to fall prey of Maya. So, and that's why this renounced order of life, the devotee is known as Parivrajka Acharya. We have heard this word when we say this Premadhvani at the end. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahans Parivrajka Acharya Ashtotra Shashimita Indra Sesi Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. We say, right, these things. So in that there is one word used, Parivrajka Acharya. What is the meaning of Parivrajka?
Traveler?
Renounced.
Who is always traveling, who is always moving. The rivers are also called Parivraj. Right? The rivers are called Parivraj because they are always moving. Ocean is standing at one place. The rivers are moving. So the rivers like Ganga is also called Parivrajka. So the renounced order of life is, they are called Parivrajka. They are continuously traveling. Even either it's a Goshtinandi or Bhajananandi. They don't stay at one place. Because if you stay at one place, you may get attached to that place, attached to get comfort to that place. So you will see all the sannyasis. They are always traveling. Few days at one place and a few days at a different place. Even though engaging in preaching activities, so they are continuously traveling. And the sadhus in Vrindavan, you go Vrindavan and all, they don't stay at one place. Right? All the 6 Goswamis, they were traveling. They don't have a fixed place to stay. Some few days they are staying under one tree, then they leave that place and then they're staying at another place. Few days living under another tree. So like that they were staying. So here Kardama Muni told Kapila Dev, please allow me, now I want to leave home, I want to take sannyas. And Kapila Dev told that yes, you can go ahead, you can take sannyas and you will be constantly engaged in my remembrance and I will be dwelling into your heart always. So in that way you will achieve the state of eternal life free from all lamentation and fear. So you will be able to achieve the life of freedom from lamentation and fear. All the children, little quieter. Okay. And then Kapil Dev further tells, don't worry about Mother Devahuti. Devahuti is Kapil's mother. So he is saying, now don't worry about your wife, my mother, Devahuti also. And I will give her the knowledge also. And she will also be able to become free from all sort of material fear. Earlier, what did Devahuti has expressed to Kardama Muni? When he was about to leave, she was having that lamentation that I have not utilized your association properly. I have stayed with you, but I have not engaged in the service of the Supreme Lord. And she had that fear. What will happen to me if you leave? I don't have anyone who will take care of me. So now Kapil Dev is saying she will also become free from all sort of material fear. So I wanted to talk about a little bit on this topic of fear. Generally all of us, we also have so many different type of fears. Isn't it?
Fear for the future.
Everybody is filled with some sort of fear. What are the different type of fear? Fear of death. I think that is ultimate fear. What are the other fears in this world?
What happened today and what happened in the office today?
What will happen in office today? Okay, will I get more work, extra work, extra project? Devotees have that fear that what if I get more work, I will not have time for reading. Will I find extra time for reading? Okay, what are the other type of fears?
Pay the bills.
To pay the bills. People have fear to pay the bills. Fear of losing reputation.
And
Fear of failures.
Fear of failures. Fear of rejections. Right? Fear of public speaking. Speaking in front of others. Right? So fear of public speaking, yes.
how others will feel.
What others will think about me. Right? So there are certain fears which are fear about the unknown. We just start imagining different things. Oh, what if this happened? What if that happened? Nothing has happened. We are just afraid by thinking about that unknown. Sometimes some things are genuine, right? There is some genuine fears, but most of the time the fear is about something unknown which our mind is imagining. So there are so many different type of phobias also. So some sort of phobias are coming from our past experiences, even past life experiences. In the past life, maybe some accident happened with us, somebody drowned in water. Now that person may have phobia of water, right? Phobia of getting into water. Somebody may have some accident from some height, so they have phobia of going higher. Phobia of height. Motion sickness. Somebody has motion sickness, that phobia. So, right, phobia for getting into water. So there are so many type of phobia which are coming from our past impressions, past experiences. But many people have fear of flying, going in plane, right? And then many people have the fear of what you call as future. That is the biggest common fear of future. What will happen in future? Will I maintain my job or not? Will I have enough income to send my kids to school? So all those sort of fears are there. Now, you know what? Every year there is a survey. I just picked one picture which shows a survey of 2018 done in America. What are the top 10 fear of people? So this Chapman University, they conducted this survey. What are the top 10 fear people expressed? Out of that, what is the number one fear of people?
Job security.
Job security. Job security is towards quite low actually. What is the biggest fear people had? Corruption. Corruption by the government officials. That is the biggest number of fear. In India also, right, that's the biggest fear. Fear of corruption. Then the another bigger fear was the pollution of the natural resources. Pollution of rivers, oceans. Oh, Ganga is getting polluted, Yamuna is getting polluted, oceans are getting polluted. So that is a number second fear. Fear of pollution of natural resources. Then fear, pollution of water, our drinking water. Is my drinking water safe? So much fear is about it. What water I am drinking, is that water safe? Then the fear about the air we are breathing. Pollution of air. That air is getting so much polluted, right? People are becoming so much scared of all these things. And then you said fear of losing job, right? Somebody said, you said. Right. So fear of losing job, or in another sense, will I have enough income to pay my bills? Then the fear of our near and dear ones getting sick. Fear of our near and dear ones dying. And then another fear in America, which people reported, was high medical bills. Medical insurance here is so expensive. So people think once I don't have job, I am on my own insurance, and so much of medical bills and also high medical bills is a big fear in America. So all these different type of fears are there. Now some of these things, as I said, are just our imagination thinking about the future, fear of the unknown. And actually, there is a set of verses composed which is known as Vairagyashtakam. Okay? In that there is one verse which talk about the different type of fear people have. Bhoge roga bhayam kulachiti bhayam vikte nirapalad bhayam mane dainya bhayam bale ripu bhayam rupe jaraya bhayam shastre vadi bhayam gune khal bhayam kaye kritanad bhayam. So many type of fears are there. Fear of getting old. If somebody is beautiful, they have fear of losing their beauty, right? As we grow old, our face will become wrinkled. Now we have so many followers or so many people who glorify us in terms of they consider us as their role model, but then nobody will like us. Then bhoge roga bhayam. While we are trying to enjoy eating delicious different delicacies, there is always fear of getting disease. Bhoge roga bhayam. मिन कर खाते हैं लोग आजकल. 2 चपाती खाऊं के 3 चपाती खाऊं, 1 रसगुल्ला खाऊं के 2 रसगुल्ला खाऊं. I already have a diabetic problem. Should I take 1 bowl of rice or 2 bowl of rice? Can I eat little more? So bhoge roga bhayam. So much of fear is there in everything. So people are filled with fear. Somebody has little fame, they have fear of losing their fame. Somebody has little knowledge, they have fear of somebody. What if I meet somebody who has more knowledge than me? Right? He will defeat me in discussion, in debate. So all those different sort of fear are there. But now the point is how to overcome fear. How do we overcome our fear? By chanting, okay? By chanting, by meditation. So, yes, that is the process. But the first thing we need to understand is, thank you.
Don't think about it.
Don't think about it is also not the solution actually. It's not that, okay, some problem is coming towards us and we just close our eyes, don't think about it and the problem will be solved. Right? Like the, you know that, what is that? Ostrich. One example is ostrich. Ostrich, when they see the eagle coming to grab, ostrich put his head down in the ground. Right? And thinks, now because he cannot see, he thinks the problem is gone away. And the another example given is the bird, this kabutar, dog. When the cat attacks on the dog, just closes his eyes. Right? Thinks that, okay, danger has gone away. So that is not the solution. We cannot just shut our eyes towards the problem. Problem is there, it's real. But how do we overcome such fears? First thing is, we need to understand some fears are actual fear, and we cannot get rid of fear altogether. Certain fears are there which are healthy fears also. Certain fears are genuine fear also. It's not about just getting rid of fear, it's about managing our fear. Okay, so it's not at 100% becoming fearless. It's about managing, how we manage that fear. But how do we manage that fear? By developing that faith to the Supreme Lord. By developing our faith and acceptance towards the plan of the Supreme Lord. So sometimes what happens is, we see something bad happening. We may not be able to understand the plan of the Lord. But understanding one thing, even though right now I don't understand the plan of the Lord, whatever is happening maybe is not good, but it is for my good. You understand the point? Something bad happened to us, maybe your finger got cut or something. Something bad happened. So, okay, whatever is happening maybe is not good, but having that faith in the Lord that it is for my good. Jo hari kare, so mama hit. Whatever Krishna is doing, it's for my benefit. Jo hari kare, so mama hit. So in that way, developing that faith to the Supreme Lord, developing that acceptance in the plan of the Supreme Lord. So there are so many examples in the scriptures and in our real life scenario also which we can see. So to overcome this fear, we need to develop that closeness with Krishna. When we develop that closeness with Krishna, when we feel that Krishna is always with me, then we can really overcome that fear. Like a small child. A small child, if he is holding on to the hand of the father or mother and they are walking on the street, they are very confident. My father, my mother, they will protect me. Like this. So once one girl was walking with her father, and as they are walking, there is a lot of crowd and people are there, and the father says, hold my hand or hold my finger. The girl said, no, better you hold my hand. Rather than me holding your hand, better you hold my hand. What does that really mean? Because if the child is holding the hand of the father or mother, when they are going, they may get distracted to something, they may leave the hand and run towards that object. But if the father or mother is holding the hand of the child, no matter what distraction is coming, they will not leave the hand, they will hold the hand tightly of the child. So the girl said, better you hold my hand. So, because the child has so much faith, this my father, my mother is there, they will always take care of me. Once Prabhupada was traveling with his son, right? It's before Prabhupada took sannyas. When Prabhupada was traveling in the tram, the conductor came and the conductor asked the son, do you have the money to buy the ticket? He said, no, I don't have money. And he said, if you don't have money, then I have to get out of train. I have to get you out of the tram. But the child was sitting there confidently. This conductor, he knew whose son are they, and he knew Prabhupada and basically Abhacharan that time, right? So he is just having some conversation with the child, just to kind of talk to them. Or if you don't have money, then I have to put you out of the tram. The child said, no, he had full confidence, my father is there, he will pay for it. He had full confidence in that way, that father will take care of us. So same way, if we develop that faith in Krishna, that Krishna is always there with me, Krishna will take care of me, no matter what the situation is, my father, my eternal father is with me, he will take care of me. So developing that faith with Krishna, developing that closeness with Krishna. So accepting the plans of Krishna. You know how is that? How we develop that closeness with Krishna? If you develop closeness with Krishna, that fear is gone. Why and how? So just like earlier, in earlier time, nowadays it doesn't happen. Earlier times when the girl is getting married, because she doesn't know the husband, she doesn't know the in-laws, because the marriage just happens like that without they have met any time. The relationship has been fixed and girl is getting married. And as the girl is ready to go to the house of in-laws now, the final ceremony, after the marriage ceremony is done, the final ceremony, what is used to be the final ceremony? Crying part. Right, the crying part used to be the final ceremony. So girl will embrace the mother and cry, then she will embrace the father, cry, she will embrace her sisters, cry. Because one thing is, she is leaving behind all her near and dear ones. And the another thing is that anxiety. I am going into the new house, I don't know anybody there, what will happen there, what will be the situation, what will be the circumstance. But now if she knew everybody there in the new house, if she has developed that relationship, that closeness with them, then there is no anxiety, then there is no fear. Nowadays what happens is, girls know the boy very well. They have already met few times. They have gone to many dinners together. She has met all the in-laws also, maybe stayed with them also few days. So now, as the wedding is getting over, the final ceremony is no more there actually these days. Girl is eager to go, sit in the car and say bye-bye now, I'm going to my new house. Why? Because she has already developed that closeness. There is no anxiety, there is no fear. So same way if we develop that closeness with Krishna, coming to the fear of death part also, right? If we develop that closeness with Krishna, then there is no fear of anything unknown in the future. There was one very wonderful king, okay, in Tirupati. He is also one of the Alvars. His name was Anant Alvar. So a very wonderful devotee of Balaji. He had a nice garden where he will grow flowers for Balaji. He will pluck the flowers to offer to Balaji. One day he went to the garden to pluck flower and he was bitten by a snake. He was so absorbed in service of the Lord, nothing happened to him. He plucked the flowers and he took it to Balaji to offer. And actually he was such a great devotee, Balaji used to talk with him. He will have personal conversation with Balaji. So this day, after plucking the flower, he went to Balaji to offer these flowers and Tirupati Balaji spoke to him. Hey Anand, today I saw you were bitten by a snake and you are alright? Nothing happened to you? Are you okay? He said, my dear Lord, nothing happened to me. When you are here, what is the fear? No, what if you die after bitten by the snake? Then still what is the problem? See, now also I am serving you. Now I am going to the garden, plucking the flower, offering to you. If I die, I will come back to you. There also I will pluck the flower and offer to you. So what is the difference? Now also I am serving you. There also I will serve you. So if you have developed that closeness, that relation with Krishna, you have that faith in Krishna, then there is no fear of unknown. There is no fear of death also. There is no fear of future also. I posted a message, a final message by Kadam Kanan Maharaj, who just left his body on 9th March morning in Vrindavan. So before giving up his body, he had recorded a small video. So I shared that video today. I don't know how many of you saw that. If not, then please watch that video. His message is basically to his disciples, to the devotees in general, that how we should sincerely practice spiritual life without any fears. And ultimately after death we will unite again. in spiritual world. I will be again together, having a nice festival again, chanting and dancing and singing in glorification of Krishna. So that is the mood of a devotee. So if we accept Krishna's plan, then we can become fearless. First thing is having faith, developing faith in Krishna, accepting the plans of Krishna without whining. I may not understand Krishna's plan right now. I may not understand what is happening, why it is happening right now. Whatever happening is not good, but it is for my good. So acceptance. Everybody used to play Antakshari earlier. How many of you have played Antakshari? Right, sir? Always first also. we have to test you sometime. Antakshari on Bhagavad Gita verses. So let's see how many of you know the verses. So not only Bhagavad Gita, even include Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, everything. So we'll have play Antakshari once on shlokas. So we used to play Antakshari earlier, right? How you all play Antakshari? So one team sings, whatever is the last word, the second team sings from that letter. Then wherever they end, again the first team will sing from that ending letter. So in Antakshari game is also teaching us acceptance. Because you just accept the last word and sing based on that word. You don't start whining. No, I don't want to sing on this letter. I want to sing on that letter. Right? So you just accept whatever is the last letter, you accept it and you sing on that letter. Then the other party accepts the last letter and sing on that. So same way, accepting Krishna's plan. Okay, whatever happened today, even though something unpredictable happened which I was not expecting, just accept that and move on with that. So having that acceptance. Now it's not about just practically. Yes, we educated our mind. With these different examples we educate ourselves. So it's not just about theoretically educating, but practically engaging also. Right? We need to practically engage also. That's where coming to your point now, you said chanting to overcome fear. Yes, that is practically engaging. By hearing Krishna Katha, by chanting the holy name, by rendering service to the Lord, that is practical engagement. In Srimad Bhagavatam, there is a very beautiful verse in first canto, first chapter itself. It says, Apanna shamshitim ghoram yannam vivashoh granam tatha sadhyo vimuchyeta yad bibheti swayam bhayam. The meaning is, all the living beings who are entangled in the complicated meshes of birth and death, they can be easily freed by the chanting of the holy name, even if we chant unconsciously. Even then you get that benefit. What is the benefit of when you are chanting with proper full attention? Even chanting unconsciously, one can be relieved from all sort of fear. And what is the biggest fear? That is the fear of death. Because even so it says, death can be freed immediately by even unconscious chanting the holy name of Krishna, which is feared by fear personified. Even the death is fearful of the. So in that way, engagement is most important. If we have critical understanding, only that is not going to help us. We need to engage ourselves. For example, do you suck your thumb? No. Anybody's child used to suck their thumb? Yes. He used to. So once, see, parents generally they are very afraid or very fearful of the child sucking thumb because they suck out their energy, right? They are, in that way, they are very, tiny and thin, unhealthy. So once one girl, she used to suck her thumb. and the mother tried a lot, right, to relieve her from that wrong habit. Then she consulted somebody. How can I stop her from sucking her thumb? The other person advised that my son also used to suck thumb. What did I do is, I used to put him the shorts which were 2 inches loose or slight loose. Because when the shorts were loose, he will have both hands holding on to the shorts. So it not fall down. So he is so busy always holding on to shorts that he has no time to put his thumb in the mouth. So what is this example is? So by telling the child again and again, oh, you should not suck your thumb, you should not suck your thumb, doesn't work. The child needs another engagement. So he can forget about sucking the thumb. So the point I am saying is just understanding, yes, we should overcome fear by understanding critically, we should have faith in Krishna, we should trust Krishna's plan, accept Krishna's plan, but we need to engage ourselves in a positive way. And that positive way is chanting the holy name, reading Shastras, coming in association of devotees and having that healthy conversation, engaging in personal service of the Lord. So in that way, when we accept that plan, then we can overcome that fear. And trust me, Krishna is such a wonderful friend. Krishna is so loving friend, he never leaves us. Even if we try to go away from Krishna, Krishna will not let us go away. Right? Sometimes it happens with devotees, sometimes they practice for some time and after that they leave the process. Either they have some problem with some devotee or some problem in the temple or something. They say, no, we don't want to practice. We just want to go in our world. But Krishna doesn't leave. Once there was a devotee, brahmachari. I think it's somewhere from India. So once this brahmachari, he practiced for some time. He was staying in temple as a full-time brahmachari, and he got little problem with some other brahmachari, other temple resident devotees, and he left everything. I don't want to stay in temple. I don't want to practice, and he left the Krishna consciousness process. And before coming to Krishna consciousness, he used to be very fond of swimming, surfing. So after giving up, again he took to that habit. Oh, I want to now enjoy again. I want to go for surfing. He went into the ocean and he was surfing, and one big whale came as ready to swallow him. And at that time he called out, Krishna, please protect, please save me. And as he opened eyes, the whale disappeared. And after that he again came back to temple. I want to join back again. See, I was trying to leave Krishna, but Krishna will not leave me. There is another very beautiful story. Actually, this article came in Dandavats. Okay, there is dandavat.com. There is some article posted on that on regular basis. So this article actually came on this dandavat.com. One Mataji, she posted that article. Some Russian Mataji. So they attended a house program. As a devotee, they were visiting somewhere, and there they attended a home program. And after the program, they had to again take their flight. As they were ready to leave from that place, after the program, the host, they asked, should we pack some prasadam for you? Right, you are traveling, and should we pack some prasadam? The husband said, no, we are okay, we just ate and our flight is short flight, there is no need. And the Mataji said, no, actually I am hungry and I want to carry some prasadam. And devotees, they are very magnanimous, very generous. So they packed a lot of prasadam. So even though they were just 2 people, they packed prasadam, which is like sufficient for 4 people. So they packed a lot of prasadam, and this couple, the Russian couple, they left, they came to airport, took their flight. And as they sat in the flight, now earlier, they both actually got different seats. Husband is sitting at one place, Mataji was sitting at a different place. They could not get seats together. But it so happened that these 3 seats where husband was sitting, one seat in the middle was empty. Nobody came there. So they arranged Mataji can also come and sit there. So she came, sat, and now told the husband, "I'm very hungry. Please open the box. I want to eat something." So they opened up nice prasadam, and this third person who was sitting there. So this couple thought maybe we should ask him also if he will like to have some prasadam. So they asked this unknown person for them. They asked, "Will you please like to have something?" And this person looked and very kind of little strongly, angrily said, "No, I don't want to have." So he said, "Okay, you don't want to have." They started eating, and this second time they thought, maybe we should ask him. Maybe he is a little shy and he doesn't want to eat. We should ask him one more time. So we have enough prasadam, enough food. Will you like to have something? And again he said, "No, I told you I don't want to have." So okay, why are you getting angry? So that's okay, you don't want to have. Now after some time the hostess, air hostess came. She was asking everybody if somebody would like to eat something, and this person, the third person sitting there, he told the air hostess, "Actually, I will like to have some vegetarian food." So this Mataji heard and she told her husband, "Oh, looks like he is also vegetarian. Maybe he is a devotee. He is. Maybe we should ask him again. We have a lot of vegetarian prasadam." Because in the flight, the air hostess came and told, "We told, sir, sorry, sir, we don't have anything vegetarian left. There is everything non-vegetarian only." So we should ask him again. We have all vegetarian food only. So they asked one more time, "Will you please like to have something? We have all vegetarian food only." And this time, this person looked at them and he started crying. This person started crying. Said, what happened? We are just offering you food. If you don't want to have, that's okay, but why are you crying now? He said, "Actually, I was a devotee earlier. I had left everything. I became a devotee, but then I got into some problem with some other devotee and I left everything. I left the process and again went back into my world. I am coming back right now from the funeral of my father. My father had passed away. We all family members got together. We just did the funeral. And last 2-3 days, all my other family members, relatives, they were eating all sort of things. And all I was surviving was on some salads, some tomatoes. And I could not get proper prasadam, proper food. Here, I see you are offering me all this nice prasadam. And why I am crying is because Krishna, he is not letting me go. He is not leaving me. He is still catching me. So that is Krishna. Even once we come into the process, when we start practicing something, Krishna is such a dear friend, he is such a well-wisher, he will not leave us. He will try to protect us, he will try to provide for us. So we need to understand Krishna's plan in that way and accept Krishna's plan. Not out of fear. So sometimes we do certain things out of fear. Even how many of you, before you came to Krishna consciousness, you had fear of God? Right? Maximum people, they approach God out of fear. But then that slowly need to change. See, generally a child also, in our families also we may have seen, or we ourselves may have done, earlier the child do something out of fear of father. Oh, if I don't do this, my father will be angry with me. So out of fear we do something. And then some of the things we do out of desire. Oh, if I do it nicely, my father will be happy with me and he will buy a new toy for me. He will buy a new bicycle for me. Right? Out of desire, then we do certain things. And then sometimes we just do it out of duty. The child will do it out of duty. Oh, my father is spending so much time and so much money on me. He is taking loan for my college education. So out of duty, I should study nicely to get good marks and get into good job. So out of duty then, we try to do certain things. And then ultimately, it should change into love. We want to do out of love. Oh, I want to serve my parents now. I want to serve my father, my mother. So same way with Krishna also. Earlier we may have approached Krishna out of fear of God. Oh, if I don't pay obeisances to Krishna, maybe he will do something nasty with me. Right? As if he is some egoistic God. So people approach God out of fear. But then people approach God out of desire. If I please Krishna, if I please God, He will fulfill my desires. He will give me this thing or that thing. Then out of duty. Some people may approach Krishna out of duty. Krishna is already providing us so many things. He is making all these arrangements. Out of duty, I should reciprocate with Krishna. But then ultimately, it should change to out of love. That we want to develop that loving relationship with Krishna. He is my real well-wisher. He is my eternal friend. He is my eternal father and mother. So out of love, developing that relationship with Krishna. And when we develop that relationship with Krishna, then all our fear, our anxiety can come to an end. Or it comes to a manageable level. Now, as I said in the beginning, some fears are healthy fear. Some fears are good to have. Anybody can name what are the fears which are good to have? So if the child is afraid of parents, so that's in one sense good, so that he will not go in a wrong path. Right? He will not do something wrong. So that is also good fear. We should have fear of our superiors, that they will become angry with me if I do something bad. So for children, yes, that's a healthy fear.
The fear of offenses when we are in
Yes.
devotees.
So as a devotee, what kind of fear is considered as a good fear, a healthy fear? Prabhu said, fear of committing offenses towards other devotees. Yes, we should be always fearful about that, so that we are careful not to commit offenses towards the devotees. We should be always fearful of Maya, that Maya does not attack me, Maya doesn't catch me, that I can safeguard myself from the temptations of this world. So we should have that fear of Maya, fear of our anarthas. Right? We should be always very careful that we are not fanning our anarthas. See, the outside snake is okay, but all of us are bitten by another snake, which is the snake of envy. Right? That snake is in the heart. We are all bitten by the snake of envy. So we should be always fearful about our anarthas, because these anarthas can prompt us to commit offenses towards the devotees. So fear of Maya, fear of committing offenses, fear of our own anarthas, fear of losing devotee association. Right? So we should have that fear that yes, I don't want to do something which will cause me to leave devotee association. I always want to be in devotee association because that's my biggest wealth. So these are some of the healthy fears to have actually. Fear of hurting others. Right? Through my words, through my action, I don't want to hurt others. So apart from that, actually, we should not be fearful about our future, what is going to happen in future, 10 years down the line, 20 years down the line, will I have enough money, will I have enough this or that. All these fears are fear of unknown. We should just trust Krishna's plan. Krishna will maintain me, Krishna will help me. Even if there is a problem, Krishna will help me to come out of that problem. So we should understand actually, this last 2 minutes here, be very attentive what I am going to say. See, when we approach Krishna, what is our intention in approaching Krishna? See, when we approach Krishna, it doesn't mean there will be no problem in our life. Don't have that wrong notion that if I become a devotee, there will be no problem in my life. Problems will remain. Last 2 minutes. So, there will be problem in life. Everybody will still get old. Everybody still have to die. So those are also problems, right? So everybody will have problems in life. Becoming devotee does not mean there is no problem in life. What is our intention? Our intention should be
Give the
What?
intelligence to solve the problem or go through or
Yes.
understand Krishna plan.
understanding Krishna's plan. Yes, we want to have association of Krishna, not freedom from all the problems of life. Our goal is not to become free from all the problems of life, but to be in association of Krishna. By hearing Krishna Katha, by chanting the holy name, by engaging in service, always being in association with Krishna. Because otherwise, what is the difference if we are just seeking the blessing of Krishna? Through the seeking the blessing of Krishna, we think now all my problems should go away. Krishna should shower his blessing on me, all my problems should go away. Then we are like Duryodhana. Because Arjuna and Duryodhana both went to Krishna for asking for help. Duryodhana asked for Narayani Sena. Arjuna asked for Krishna's association. Even though Arjuna was with Krishna, there were still problems. But because Krishna was with them, they were able to handle all the problems. They were always able to come out of the problems. So our goal also should be, we always want association of Krishna. We simply don't want blessing of Krishna in a way that all my problems should go away. If my problem is not going away, what Krishna is doing for me then? That should not be the mindset. So that is how we can overcome our fear, by connecting ourselves with Krishna, by developing faith in Krishna, by accepting plans of Krishna, and by engaging ourselves with Krishna. Okay, with that I will stop here. Grantha Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai,
Vrindanath Prabhuji ki
jai.